time this one time. Holy crap, we are live. I know you folks love it when I'm like my virtual pants down when we go live, not knowing when it's going to put us live. Folks, it's a Friday night. Welcome to the Iron Rations live stream with Joe the Lawyer. And
hey guys, how you doing?
For those who've been following along in the month of February, it was a shit ton of live streams here on the Tavern Chat YouTube channel. Kind of exhausting, a lot of fun. We've picked up a lot of viewers. I really do appreciate folks. You like what you saw, you subscribe. If you like what you're watching, if you enjoy this, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button because being subscribed doesn't really do shit, I think. Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Comments help, yes. I think, too.
And we don't generally have a lack of comments. We usually have a frequent amount of comments, and I appreciate that, especially during the live stream and after the live stream. Yeah, it all works, and it feeds Joe and I when we're doing this because oh god,
yeah, definitely.
So just for our friend Tim, yes, we know we were fucking late. Go fuck yourself.
It says, so let's get this shit show on the road, unquote.
Yeah, with all due respect, we're going to throw that out there. So we got a couple of things that we want to touch upon, but I guess we'll go with the one that's most, I guess, D&D relevant because it involves Wizards of the Coast. Yeah. Wizards of the Coast is now like a standalone division within Hasbro. And I don't know exactly how that works. Yeah, when I worked retail, I worked for Stearns Department Store, and Stearns Department Store was a standalone entity within Ally, which then became federated. Yeah. But then you had other chains like A&S that were not standalone, that didn't have a corporate identity. They were just part of the Overlord. Well, apparently now Hasbro has carved out Wizards of the Coast to be their own entity.
Yeah, now, which is interesting because I see, like, the article I think you're probably leading to is the movie thing here. And Hasbro, I'm reading the article says that Hasbro has provided updates on the upcoming Dungeons & Dragons and Magic the Gathering entertainment projects during an investor call. It says Hasbro's E1 division, E, lowercase e, capital O-N-E division. So Hasbro has this E1 division, which seems to be, I don't know, entertainment, I guess, in like the movies and media more than miniatures and games and books and shit like that. So if Hasbro's E1 division has some sort of latching into Wizards of the Coast, what does that mean? Is it truly a subsidiary? I don't know. That's interesting.
Well, it is interesting. What I did read, and this is, and I'm going to give a number out here, and I literally could be full of shit because I don't have the article in front of me.
Speaking of full of shit, just as a prelude, guys, I had a late dinner, and it was a very greasy dinner. It was a steak wrap, and if I go away for a few minutes and Eric's on his own for a while, just leaving it.
Yeah, just feed me in the chat with your questions at that point, and just say I'll be lucky it's a virtual. Meeting that Joe and I are doing.
If you hear the headphones drop and footsteps running, you'll know what the fuck is happening.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. So,
but I believe I heard a number being tossed around of either 140 or 180 million that was generated by Wizards of the Coast in 2020. So, that being said, how much of that is D&D? Probably not a huge amount, unless you think that, well, did they get paid now maybe for licensing the movie rights now that it's coming closer? I don't think that, by the way, Tim, I don't think, well, actually, no, you're right. Just make sure you mute or remove your headset before you go.
Yeah, it's a wired headset, so don't worry. You'll hear the thump of the headset on hit the ground. Yeah.
Ka-dunk. But, and something else, and you're got some more details on the movie aspect, but something else that I noticed when I read one of the articles on this is that electronic media is being given to Wizards of the Coast.
Really?
So, yes. So and that's interesting. Now, why would Wizards of the Coast get their electronic media? Well, oh yes, and Wild Die Woodard, Wizards of the Coast has a new logo, and I have a secondary screen. I could actually screen share this if I figure it out.
Nice.
Yeah, I just have to. But they have a new logo. But if they're getting the electronics versions of this stuff or the digital, it means that if you're playing the Waterdeep game on your phone or other stuff, I guess that's going to be fooling. Of course, I can't even spell Wizards of the Coast. That's why you can't figure out what the hell I'm saying. But if you are licensing through Wizards or your digital material, that should increase Wizards' money and their value. Mm-hmm. And you got to, and not being a conspiracy theorist, and Joe and I did not discuss this beforehand. But I'm gonna throw this out there because I am certainly occasionally a bit of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Could they be setting? We've been talking about this in the past, and people are like, "Oh, there's no way that they would ever sell Wizards of the Coast." Well, you've set it up as its own division. Mm-hmm. So if it's its own division, if it is basically something that could be sliced off if necessary, are they setting it up not immediately down the line? Are they setting it up to maybe not even sell it off, but to spin it off? Now you can maybe spin off Wizards as something that is majority owned by Hasbro, but maybe they still can put an IPO out on it.
Well, I'm wondering too is when you look at Wizards, right? Everybody looks at it as one thing, but what is Wizards of the Coast? I mean, there's a couple big things in there, right? Number one's Magic the Gathering, which dwarfs, I think, D&D. Even though D&D and Magic Gathering had the best years ever, well, guess what? COVID. Nobody's got shit to do. You can't go anywhere. I also play D&D or online or whatever. No, right. Probably not coincidentally, Roll20 probably had a fantastic year as well, right? So
that's the new Wizards of the Coast logo up in the main screen sharing that. It's interesting, but it modernizes it, right? Yeah. It's going for a different feel. Yeah, and these events I think are. Oh, I removed Joe. Oh crap! Hold on.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Sorry, Joe. I removed you instead of removing the secondary stream. I was like, what happened there?
Yeah, I'm reading the article here. It says, at a PAX 2021 investor event, Hasbro announced they're reorganizing the whole company into 3 divisions: consumer products, entertainment, and Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming. The consumer products will handle Hasbro's traditional toys and games. Entertainment, responsible for the company's film and television content. Wizards of the Coast new division will continue to make Wizards' existing games like Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons and lead an aggressive digital transformation of those games and license Hasbro's gaming IP for other digital products. So maybe we'll get a fucking decent D&D video game. Maybe something better than the MMO, the DDO Online, Dungeons & Dragons Online MMO. You know, that needs a freaking update. It's still using the 3. Whatever system there, you know. But yeah, they're doing well. They're doing well this year.
Well, there's stuff going on there for Wizards of the Coast to be its own division, its own name, its own identity. We're giving it a new logo. Yeah. That new logo is being prepared to be put on movies and other stuff. And that also means that if they're going to put out a digital version of a Hasbro property, like, I don't know, Hero Quest, right? The Hero Quest. Yeah. It kind of kickstarted, being that it was done on Hasbro's own platform. Mm-hmm. But if they did something like that, we're going to give you a digital version, well, then those funds would help support Wizards of the Coast. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
The weird thing I'm looking at here, it says that guy's name is Cox. Sorry, it's funny.
He said Cox.
Sorry. Cox said the Wizards is building a robust new IP pipeline, hiring key talent from Ubisoft, BioWare, Warner Brothers, and Disney to explore fantasy-adjacent genres like sci-fi, action, horror, and collectibles. I said horrible because it probably will be. Whenever you do something in-house like that, dude, just license the shit. Just license it out to somebody else. What the hell you're doing? You can't hire a programming division from scratch and start. You're too big a damn company. I don't think that'll ever work well. And it says they're looking forward to our next big tentpole franchises. Over the next 5 years, they're going to launch several successful new brands focusing on what defines our success today, namely fantasy-adjacent genres to appeal to the lifestyle gamer, like sci-fi and horror, with games that offer deep world building and a consistent drumbeat of content that supports long-term engagement, punctuated by epic play DNA that crosses borders and generations. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck did I just read?
It's marketing speak, and I'll tell you part of what it means. It means that they want to do, what do they call it? DLC content, downloadable content. So, hey, we're going to give you the game for free, but if you want to play the expansion costs. For digital, it's incrementalism, or the whole idea back in the 80s and early 90s, hey, we're going to give you your first bag of crack, and it's free. But after that, we've got you hooked. You're going to want to come back for more, So and we see that already on your phone with the games you get on your phone. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I can play the latest D&D game with Warriors of Waterdeep. But if you really want to succeed, you'll pay $49 to upgrade and get the latest pack of gems and whatever else, because that's where they make their money. You have to remember when 4E was coming out, 4E was designed initially with the mindset of we are going to do an MMO at the tabletop. In other words, MMOs came from tabletop gaming. Mm-hmm. All right, and then tabletop
gaming Magic the Gathering mixed in. Remember, there's a lot of that bullshit mixed in there too.
Yeah. But they said, hey, we're going to take this, and because MMOs are getting a monthly fee. Yeah. So the money in an MMO is not so much, and the MMOs learned this over a number of years, is that you can give away the game so long as you're charging a monthly fee. Or even now with like EverQuest, you can play without paying a monthly fee. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to spend time in it, you're gonna subscribe. And that's what they want to do. So that's what they were hoping to get with 4E, and that's why they were working on their own VTT. And then that shit went nosedive when you had the murder suicide.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that, but they just had a few guys resign, like say the D&D, what is it, D&D Beyond, whoever the hell their online platform thing is. I don't even know what it's called. Theirs.
Their license, isn't D&D Beyond a licensee?
What was that name of that thing? It's like 3 or 4 people just resigned and announced on Twitter, "Oh, it's been great working here. See you later." The old resignation / I need a job, son of a bitch. Give me anybody looking, anybody hiring. So whatever that digital platform was that they had that I never used because I don't even know what the hell it is. A few people just resigned. I wonder if this is like the first step in the redoing of all that once they bring in all these people.
Well, all right. I just looked that up real quickly. And D&D Beyond top figures resign.
Yeah, that was a big deal. There was a lot of people, a lot of talent there. I don't know what the hell D&D Beyond is, but if a bunch of top people leave, that's not good.
Well, D&D Beyond is how you get your digital content for D&D.
Oh, is that how you do it? Officially, legally? Is that how you do it?
Yes, that's how you do it. After the lead writer, James Hake, announced his departure a couple of weeks ago, the other figures at the top of the D&D Beyond decided to leave the company. Right. In particular, there are 3. This is from AROGED.com. If I can't figure out how to pronounce your fucking website, maybe you didn't spell it right. Yeah. In particular, there are 3 prominent figures who decided to follow Hake in resigning from the company. The co-founder of D&D Beyond and vice president of tabletop gaming, Adam Bradford, community manager Lauren Urban, and creative director of the company, Todd Kenrick. It's a set of official tools that accompanies the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. D&D Beyond also contains the online versions of the official books that are part of the version of D&D, including manuals, adventures, and other supplemental volumes, as well as providing digital tools such as character generator and character sheets. So basically, if you want to map out your character's future, this is like what you You had third-party programs that could do it for Pathfinder. This is what you got for D&D. List of monsters and spells that can be sorted and filtered. An encounter generator and an extension Twitch Interactive. In addition to official content, it's also offers the ability to create and add custom content created by the community itself.
Huh. So is that going away too? Are these people going away? Is that going away?
Well, here's my guess. All right. Yeah. And again, folks, neither I nor Joe have inside information on any of this.
No, I'm not Doomcock, everybody. If you know who Doomcock is. All hail the future ruler of the earth, but I'm not Doomcock. I have no sources. I have no spies.
Yes, although you do hide behind the mask.
I do hide behind. Yeah, I am. I'm not.
You
Doomcock.
could be Doomcock.
Yeah. Death, whatever the hell that is.
But here's the thing, folks. D&D Beyond operates under a license. They are licensed by Wizards of the Coast. In other words, they're licensed by Hasbro. If Wizards of the Coast now, if their new umbrella is to include the digital aspects, obviously they would be the ones involved in licensing. But it could be too is that Wizards of the Coast is angling to turn D&D Beyond into something under their direct control, their direct umbrella. And now there's a few ways you could look at this. Are the people involved resigning because they don't want to get bought out? Maybe D&D Beyond is going to get, brought in whole cloth. Because, like you're saying, you just can't start up your own division. But usually, what companies like Hasbro or Amazon or whoever does is they buy out a smaller company, and then they're like, okay, well, we just absorbed whoever and whatever, but now we have our artificial intelligence division, which we wanted to get, but we don't have to start it from scratch. We bought out somebody else. And what happens when they do these buyouts is they get rid of, a lot of times, the upper management, because they're not, unless you're bringing them in because the upper management, unless the upper management is somebody that you feel is the heart and soul of things. A lot of times companies feel that upper management of a newly acquired company is saddling them with issues that they don't want.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, just to think about upper management and whatnot. I mean, maybe something controversial I'm going to drop here, but Hasbro, even Wizards of the Coast, they are not creative, innovative companies, right? Hasbro's been making the same fucking Monopoly game for a thousand years, right? That's the Hasbro division. They make the same games, Hungry Hippos, whoever make it, they make the same shit forever. Now, if you look at what Wizards of the Coast has, right? Magic the Gathering created 20-something years ago. They don't do anything creative. They
closer to 30 years ago.
30. All they do, though, when they make new shit, they put out new cards with pictures on it and make the shit more convoluted in terms of new shit, that new rules, whatever, new cards. That's not being creative. That's just adding on layers on top of something somebody already created. Same thing with D&D. They inherited all the IP of Dungeons & Dragons for decades from really creative people, and all they did is just copy and cut and paste bits and pieces and stuff into making 5th edition. They're not creative people. And so if you're going to bring in a division of what digital creators, that's actually creative people. These people actually have to do something with their fucking brains, with their imaginations, and put something out there digitally into the world. And that takes some talent. Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, I don't think, have the ability to foster that level of talent in-house. They should just stick to fucking licensing and go with like that route,
Well, but here's the problem with licensing is that obviously you're not keeping all of that pie for yourself. Yeah, if you can bring it in-house, then you control the pie. Now, what's interesting is now we're going to build off your Magic the Gathering part. Wizards of the Coast has licensed the Lord of the Rings and the Warhammer 40K, and I think there were some other licenses involved in there for use with Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting because, I mean, like you were saying before, Warhammer 40K, they haven't been in business with them in any official sense since, like, the late 70s, and then Middle-earth is opening up. I mean, if Wizards of the Coast can pick up Middle-earth as for the D&D part, then there might be growing some growth. But again, it goes to show, not using any imaginative ability within Wizards of the Coast. They're just taking somebody else's creative thing and then sort of like, using it for their own. They're just adapting it, right?
Right. I mean,
that's all it is.
And to get the 40K license, that's for years, something like Warhammer 40K has been competition for Wizards of the Coast, right? Games Workshop and Wizards of the Coast have not really worked hand in hand in a long time. Not since I guess the early '80s, when Games Workshop was a distributor for TSR. So, and now it isn't the Warhammer fantasy that's being brought over, at least not yet, but it is Warhammer 40K. Now, Lord of the Rings, the other interesting part, Lord of the Rings, right now, and we go off on tangents, but they're all linked in some way.
Yeah.
Right now, right before Joe and I logged into this, I checked in on the One Ring role-playing game second edition. As I am watching this, I am watching
the Kickstarter.
It's Kickstarter. Yeah. It's got 5 days left. It's got 11,000 backers. It has raised $1,381,191.
Jesus.
So it's probably going to hit at least 1.5. Could it hit 2?
Yeah.
It's possible. It's got 5 days left.
It's got momentum at this point. It's going to show up on everybody's top lists now,
Now, with the licensing now of Lord of the Rings, that's obviously building off the One Ring property, and it's building off of, is it Amazon or Netflix is working on the live stream, the streaming series.
Yeah. It's going to be set back in the Second Age, though, or something. It's not going to be it's back in the old fight, with the elves against Morgoth, or whoever the hell, or that kind of thing. Yeah.
So, Jesus. I mean, it's interesting what's going on with that, and we're seeing all this intermingling.
Yeah.
Now, again, last year, D&D or Wizards of the Coast had a great year. Why is that? You would say, how could they have a great year if people aren't physically going to shops? Obviously, Magic the Gathering online was a huge property last year. Also, when it comes to the D&D property, virtual tabletops were huge last year.
Yeah. I've spent a lot of money on Roll20. We're playing 5e enough that I'm like, and I saw some guys, they were doing real cool things. Like Rob Connolly, actually, he bought the books, the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manuals, all this stuff. And I'm like, he was able to pull up all these things like really quickly, and I'm like, geez, that's pretty cool. And so I had extra cash, So I'm like, let me buy a few things. I actually bought stuff for my brother too, as he runs his games with it. And it's really nice. It's helpful to have. And I question myself because I'm a purist with books and pen and paper. But as I move more and more of my pen and paper shit onto online, I'm like, I feel like a trader, but God, it's so easy and cool, Yeah.
Well, and now we're looking at, again, this is a sign of the pandemic, and you would think a business like this would take a hit, but obviously not. Now, why is that? Well, part of it is Roll20. Roll20, I don't know whether the number was 8 million or 10 million, but they claim to have that many users. That means registered accounts. Is that active accounts? No. However, even if just 1 in 10 is active, you're still looking at 1 million players. If 1 in 10 of those active accounts is used more than once a season, you're still looking at 100,000 players. That's a huge customer base to work upon.
Yeah.
Now, there are a number of VTTs out there, and I'm going to be playing around with and checking some out. Now, my default one for years has been Roll20 because it worked for me as the minimalist VTT user. However, I've seen and heard good things about Foundry, which I want to try. But here's something that a lot of folks don't know. I did not know. Now, only 2 of these VTTs, well, maybe not. There might be a third yet, and maybe Foundry. Well, I know Roll20 has licenses from Wizards of the Coast. So Wizards of the Coast sells their adventures, their modules.
Yeah, they do. That's what I bought. Yeah.
Pretty much when they release on Amazon, you're getting stuff that can be released on Roll20. That's awesome. Fantasy Grounds has the same deal. But Fantasy Grounds has something that Roll20 does not. It has a license, or in their store, they have a rule set for AD&D 2E that is supported by Wizards of the Coast with the second edition core books.
Interesting.
Plus AD&D and 1E and 2E adventures.
Sean Miller just made a good point there. Now, he was leading me right to that too. What you were saying there. What are the odds that Wizards will buy Roll20 or other VTT? That makes me, as what you were saying there, Eric, was I'm wondering if Wizards is going to move that shit back in house, because look at this D&D Beyond thing we were talking about before, right? The digital content people, all of D&D's digital content, as you said, is spread out right now over the tabletops, the virtual tabletops. Right. It's a huge chunk of it is on DM's Guilds, and right, all the old classic modules and content is there, right? And then you have whatever the fuck D&D Beyond had, you could buy shit on there, right? And so you have all these different outlets of digital content, how to use that to license it. It seems like they're getting rid of the existing base infrastructure. I would not be surprised if they started pulling back content from licensees, just to try to go in house. Because if they're going to go hire all these Ubisoft people, like they were saying there, John actually said that too. They're hiring Ubisoft, BioWare, Warner's, and Disney. Yeah, if they're going to do that, they may decide to do a lot of this shit in house. I hope that God they don't make an MMO in house. That'd be a disaster, because, like I said, this leads to the whole creative brain drain. Right? They don't have enough people there who are creative enough. But if they start pulling their shit in again, who knows? We may have the big terror like we had 9 or 10 years ago, and then he pulled all their digital content from RPG Now or Drive-Thru. Remember that?
It was. Were they merged at that time? They might have been merged at that time. I know I had a lot of products that suddenly you couldn't even access. Yeah. You were given 3 days to go in, or 2 days to go in and download all your shit.
Which was terror forever.
That should have refunded. They actually should have refunded money on that. But in any case, there's certainly stuff going on, and for D&D Beyond is a money maker. Okay, that's a ka-ching situation. So for people in their top positions to say, hey, you know what, it's time for me to bow out, they can see the sign coming. They have the inside information. Yeah. Again, maybe the license isn't going to be renewed. It hasn't happened. It's not like it hasn't happened before. Yeah. I don't see. Here's what I don't see. I don't see Wizards of the Coast pulling material back from the VTTs. The VTTs
too much money, right?
are huge, and I suspect that Wizards of the Coast, well, they may at some point, if they want to do a VTT of their own, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It would have to be next generation, and it would have to be something that would not impact their current sales on Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds before they announce it. And then it could, because
you have to go 3D. You'd have to have 3D miniatures and a 3D playable screen. You can move around. You'd have to be able to say, I cast Fireball, and your little fucking guy on the screen moves his hand and a ball of fire shoots out of his ass. You know what I mean? It's going to have to be something like that. Otherwise, what are they bringing to the table? Unless they up the game. Why would I move from Roll20 with all the content I fucking bought? Why would I move from Roll20 to go to something new unless it really upped the game like that,
But this all falls into place, too, with what I've argued in the past. Are they going to put out a new edition of D&D? And I don't. I think I don't see it.
I don't see it happening either. I don't either.
And the reason why I don't see it is because Wizards of the Coast controls the official content, right? Yeah. And now they put out the official content on D&D Beyond. So when you're playing with the D&D Beyond, and I think D&D Beyond is kind of like the default, if you're running Adventurers League stuff, you have to get your updates from D&D Beyond to the rules. So if they're going to change, I don't know, the stat array and adjustments for a race, or they're going to say elves and goblins and kobolds are no longer evil, they don't necessarily have to put out a new edition to do that. They just have to update the digital content that is referred to in official games.
This goes back to what I said before. I don't think they have the qualified staff left to do such a thing, Eric. The last time they put out a new edition was what, 8 years ago, 8, 9, whatever hell it's been, 7.
Right.
When they started working on it hardcore with the qualified staff, they've downsized. I think I'm pretty sure their staff since then. I mean, the key players of 5e are gone. They're just putting out shit, from what I could tell, every couple times a year. I haven't bought the last Tosh Cauldron of bullshit yet. I won't do it. It looks stupid, and the quality is going down. But what I think they might do, because I think they have enough talent left to do this, is reach out into all the shit for 5th edition they put out, the good and the bad, cull it, right? Because we got in 2024, we got the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. They would be fools if they passed up that opportunity to put out the special commemorative 50th edition.
Definitely.
5e book.
Listen, you're gonna get your new covers. You're gonna get your leatherette version. Yep. You're gonna get your slipcase version. Mm-hmm. You're gonna get a classic version. If we get Greyhawk back, Greyhawk's gonna be back for the anniversary. That's when you're gonna see Greyhawk, and it's gonna be a one and done. Right. But this new edition of D&D, they're not gonna call it 6th edition. They're not gonna call it 5.5. They're going to call it Dungeons and Dragons, and it's going to be, quote, fully compatible to the rules you have. Why? Because the mechanics will not change.
Well, do they call this edition 5e? And I have to look at my book. I don't even know. I think it's just called Dungeons and Dragons, ain't it? Yeah, D&D, Player's Handbook. There's nothing on the back, on the side or the back of this book. It says, when you're on the very back, when you're very ready, expand your adventures with the 5th edition of the DM Guide and Monster Manual. That's all it says. Right. That's at the very back in small print.
The marketplace for 5e is still supported. They're still making good money. And they've seen the Paizo step in shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Paizo's desperate attempt to gain back market share by saying, we need to do something. I know we promised we'd never change editions, but we're going to change to Pathfinder 2 because we need more money. Because Starfinder was a prior attempt at that, and Starfinder did not reach the heights that they needed it to prevent a new edition of Pathfinder coming out. But now, I'm going to have to actually open up my blog, because I touched on this. When it comes to the numbers,
they're doing good. Overall, I just read that they're up. Here it is. I got it right here. Record-breaking years for Magic, up 23%, and D&D up 33%. Cox said. Sorry, Cox. Our Hasbro digital licensing business grew 17% year over year, and combined with Wizards, the segment totaled $907 million in revenue last year. So they're just growing. Why would they? I mean, you make a new edition when nobody ever buys your splat books anymore, right? And it costs too much to fucking print them out paper. Nobody's buying they're still making money. They still have a lot of new people who are buying shit, and it's only grown in the last year because of COVID. I mean, but now I think you're going to double down and say, look, we're popular, we're great, we're awesome. Let's invest in all kinds of. I hope it sounds like they're doing the Gygax move of 1983. You know what I mean? It's like, we're making millions. Let's bring in the hookers and blow. Let's go crazy. I mean, it's like,
we need a new D&D cartoon.
Yeah, let's go to Hollywood. I hope they don't do that, because it's going to go bust.
Now, here's the thing: like Fantasy Grounds, and we got the numbers.
Not that guy got hookers and blow. I'm just,
he did.
I'm not saying that. I don't want to talk about that.
I don't know about the hookers, but I know about the drug abuse. And I got that from a family member. In any case, So now, up until the pandemic, up until last February, there were about. I'm just going to go from the 5e figures alone, because 5e is the big kid, and everything else gets dwarfed. On Fantasy Grounds, roughly 20,000 game sessions in the month of February 2020 using Fantasy Grounds. By April, that number was over 80,000. It was 84,000. And by January of this year, 2021, 95,000. Okay. So now, and like I said, there are different numbers from Roll20. Roll20 doesn't tell you the game sessions played. It does tell you, though, Roll20 will give you an idea of like the market share on their platform. But in case of in case of Fantasy Grounds, where is it? 71% of the sessions on the Fantasy Grounds virtual tabletop, were 5e.
Wow, yeah, that's
it's
huge.
That's nearly 3 out of 4. Now I'm going to count Paizo, and I'm going to say Paizo because for the numbers to actually compare, we got to include Pathfinder 1, Pathfinder 2, and Starfinder. If you compare those 3 titles, they get 15% of the market.
Jesus, and probably I bet you it's more 1 than 2, because the Paizo, the fans of Paizo are like the number cruncher types.
Well,
guys would have had a slide rule in their pocket 50 years ago. You know what I mean? You got to have a fucking number cruncher slide rule to make sense of that.
It's 7% for 1E and 6% for 2E.
Yeah, called it. Yeah,
and 2% for Starfinder. Savage Worlds actually comes in at 3%.
I heard. Now, how's Cthulhu doing? I heard Cthulhu was doing pretty good on Roll20 or whatever. Are they doing good on that too?
They're doing well enough to make the list. Call of Cthulhu, 1,600 game sessions this past January. That's not bad. Yeah. Like I said, I got to really do a deep dive into the Roll20 numbers. I had missed that they had released an R report. They used to when Roll20 released an R report. I used to get a notification in my email, but over the last couple of years they changed. I guess their community managers, so they no longer send those out unless you're N-World and you get the notification. But it's interesting,
though, right? Isn't Roll20 the biggest one?
Roll20 is the biggest, but there's some of it's hard to judge because again, Roll20 doesn't tell you the sessions played. It'll give you and it doesn't. They can't. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Yeah. Yes, you can say, all right, well, you got more fruit in your basket, so you look bigger. Yeah. And I would say if I was a betting man, I would say, oh, you want me to put 1,000 on that Roll20 has a higher subscriber base? Definitely. Active subscriber base.
It's been around longest.
But,
I mean, yeah.
No, it hasn't. Fantasy Grounds has been around longer.
Really?
Fantasy Grounds was around. Oh my God! I'm gonna date myself when I'm gonna tell you how far back
we're all dating ourselves in COVID. It's not safe otherwise. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Joe. Yes.
We're not swiping left or right. We're just not bothering to swipe.
Oh God.
I'm looking at my subscription now. My brother loved it. That's my brother in the comments. Just Mike. He just said, "I got news for you, Joe. Even when this virus is over, I'm still using Roll20 projecting onto the big screen for my campaign, even when we're in person." Yeah, he loves it. And you gotta get news for you too. You're gonna and all your next presents for your birthday, whatever, are gonna be Roll20 modules. So figure out what you want, because actually, when you get it, it helps me. But yeah, I'm looking at my Roll20 for subscription. I've been a member since 12/21/13, and I got 1,054 hours played at this point. I've been doing it forever. I'm used to it. You know what I mean? So it's like
I have to check mine. Roll20. I bought my first. My Fantasy Grounds. I bought my first Fantasy Ground license February 2nd, 2006.
Christ, really? Is that old?
Yes. Now it says. Now I don't know if this is apples to oranges. My order number then was 365.
Wow.
When I purchased the Ultimate license in 2009, the order number was 10,052. When I backed the recent Kickstarter for the Ultimate license for Unity, my order number was 326,737.
Yeah. Wow.
So now I will swing over to my God, Joe, I haven't logged into my Roll20 account in months, and I didn't know. I didn't even know that I could look up the.
It's right on the initial page, Eric. As soon as you hit roll20.net, enter. It's the very top page under your top right corner and your name there. So while you're looking that up, I'm looking at John.
Okay.
Member
since May 2nd, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
1,363 hours played.
Nice. You got Miami beat by that.
And I got a Lifetime Pro subscription.
Yeah, that's lifetime pro. I'm just a pro.
I backed the Kickstarter.
Oh, so you're a pro forever? That's a nice deal, man.
I'm a pro forever.
Nice.
Forever.
Yeah, I wasn't doing Kickstarter back then. I was too broke. James Thomas is Pathfinder first edition bigger than Pathfinder second. From what I understand, James, that's the case. I remember reading. I am almost, don't quote me on that, so I'm pretty damn sure. I saw the Roll20 numbers as to what they're playing on Roll20 a while back, not too long ago even. And no, first edition was beating second edition's ass. It's like they don't get. I don't think that Pathfinder is the ultimate evolution of the mechanics bloat of third edition at 3.5. It's this evolution of minutia mechanics. And I don't like it because it goes against my play style, because I like a little bit more freewheeling. You roll a D20 in Pathfinder to measure the length of your shit and the consistency and the smell. Everything is detailed. You know what I mean? I don't like that much. But the second edition Pathfinder went to try to pick up some of the people who were attracted to 5e. In terms, I bought the play test rules, and it's a little bit less mechanical crunch, a little bit more freewheeling, and it doesn't appeal as well because the Pathfinder crowd likes the fucking railroad and a mechanic for everything. They like to min-max and play that type of game, I think, you know?
Well, to each their own. Now here, I'm looking at the fourth quarter OR report, actually Roll20 numbers for the fourth quarter of last year. Now remember, 71%.
Put the link in the chat if you could, man. I'm curious. Throw the link up in the chat if you could.
Yeah, hold on. Let me do that for you.
Oh, yeah. Sure. For all of you at home can read this as well.
All right. So there's the link up in the chat. Now where did my link go? There we go. So now we said 71% of campaigns or active game sessions on Fantasy Grounds were 5e. It's about 53% of campaigns are 5e on Roll20.
Yeah.
Nearly 15% are uncharacterized, and 12% are other games. So don't even ask how that worked out. But their second most popular would be Call of Cthulhu at 10%.
Yep. That's what I was saying. Cthulhu is big on Roll20 for some reason. I don't understand why. It's huge.
Pathfinder is 3.69, second edition 1.58, and Starfinder is 0.66.
Yeah.
So you add those together, and you don't even get 6%.
You don't even get Cthulhu.
So if you add out the Paizo numbers, you don't even get the 6% of
you're not even
the Roll20 games.
Yeah,
so think about how much market share Paizo has lost. It is scary if you are a company like Paizo. You thought that you had found the golden calf, you know. It's like we're good, man. We're good. It's like
no, nothing. And even D&D 3.5, D&D 3.5 for fuck's sake is around 1%, and Pathfinder seconds 1.5. Holy shit, you know. Holy shit, man. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Now on Fantasy Grounds, 4E actually hit 1%. I know that one stood out to my eyes. I was like, oh shit. But I mean, you got to realize that VTTs, yes, as COVID gets more controlled, as the numbers start going down, as people start going, hey, I can go to my game store and game. I can go to a convention and game. I can have non-family members that aren't part of my immediate circle at my house. I can have my friends at my house, and we can game again. Are the numbers going to change on the VTTs? Yes, but they've gained a huge share that they're not going to lose.
Yep.
People have learned that VTTs might not be a perfect replacement for tabletop gaming face-to-face, but they're certainly effective.
And
if
your group is used to it, it works. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
I'll tell you the truth. For me as a GM or a DM, I need that secondary screen. If I'm going to run something like Roll20, which is why I'm glad that my setup here, my secondary workstation I got the second screen, because I need that second screen not just for game material, but I need that to put my visuals of my players.
Yeah.
I like to see my players' expressions and faces as we game.
Yep.
That's why, Joe, you see me at conventions. When I run a game at a convention, do I sit down or am I standing up and walking?
You're always standing. God help you. 3 hours, you stand up the whole fucking time, man.
Yeah. and the reason why I do that, the reason why I stand, the reason why I walk around is because I need to be able to engage my players. It's harder to do that on a virtual tabletop, especially when it comes to yes, Roll20 allows you to use voice and video. Has their video gotten better? I haven't tried it in years.
I haven't either. We still use Hangouts for that, man. All of my games use Hangouts. It's weird. And Hangouts has gotten an upgrade now. It's no longer Hangouts. It's Google Meets or some shit like that, or something that's called. I don't even know. But yeah, that's all we use at this point. But what's interesting? I'm just reading this little article here. It says Call of Cthulhu, according to Dicebreaker, Call of Cthulhu has overtaken Dungeons and Dragons in popularity in Japan, where it's found an audience and younger players fresh to the hobby. That's fucking weird, man. Interesting though. It's really interesting.
That's very interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't have expected that, but then again, wait, hold on. Japan, tentacles, right? Tentacle porn is a big thing in Japan, so maybe
I don't know.
Yeah.
The Call of Cthulhu is pretty simple, though. It's not that once you get it, it's not that complicated. It's strange. It's strange.
I don't
know. That's interesting, though, man. And this leads us all to what we're seeing here too, and into the movie. I mean, we were talking about that a little bit earlier too. They're going to have a D&D movie, and now they're actually casting it. They've confirmed. They've actually had some confirmed people on this.
Yeah, thing. Chris Pine was the first confirmation. For those that don't know who Chris Pine is, he is the new James Kirk in the recent Star Trek movies, and he plays Diana Prince's Steve Trevor love interest in the 2 Wonder Woman movies, of which I have not seen the second because even though it's free on HBO, I've heard horrible reviews. I enjoyed the first one. Don't get me wrong. Even though when I first put this. I went to see it in the theaters, and my niece was like, I don't know, 6, 7. And I thought it was going to be a great and empowering woman, and she's going to love it. And we're sitting down there, and about half an hour into the movie, she's like, Uncle? I'm like, yeah. I don't think this movie is appropriate for a child my age.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's funny, man.
Yeah, it's a bit too violent.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, okay, well, just relax and sit down and eat your popcorn.
Yeah.
And then like a few minutes later, she goes, Uncle? I'm like, yeah. She goes, yeah, this is not appropriate. I think we have to go. I'm like, son of a... Jesus. Listen, God bless her.
Yeah, but you're still, that's the thing. That's the age you look at Wonder Woman as your hero. I think Ivy, Ivy Shorts, Happy Whisk, she loves Wonder Woman. She grew up Wonder Woman. That was a big hero. She was so looking forward to the Wonder Woman movie. And she looked up to Wonder Woman when she was a little girl as a hero, and now you got a movie that a little girl can't even go to look up to a hero, and and that's sad, man. That's really sad. That's too bad. That's too bad. Anyway, the D&D movie here, it looks like they upgraded. Now Hasbro has provided updates. During an investor call, Hasbro's E1 division confirmed that the upcoming movie will begin production this spring. So that's fucking now, right? So in the next couple months, E1 also confirmed the lead cast is Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Reggie Jean Page, where the fuck that is, and Justice Smith. I don't know. Is that Justice Smith one of Will Smith's kids? I have no fucking idea. And they all 4 actors are joining the movie. This is the first time that E1 confirmed the news. They're actively developing multiple Dungeons and Dragons TV products with the goal of releasing the first series soon after the launch of the D&D movie in 2022. Currently, the Dungeons and Dragons live action movie is scheduled for release on May 27th, 2022. So they're hitting next summer for the big weekend, right? They're going to make a Magic the Gathering film. They're going to be a Magic the Gathering animated series for Netflix. And for 2022, they're building a lot of franchises around D&D and Magic the Gathering. It's huge. I mean, they're really going fucking balls to the wall with this thing, I think. It's interesting. I wonder what the hell they're going to do, because the D&D movie, you don't have, unless you bring in Drizzt, right? Drizzt, where the hell he pronounces his name? The dark elf with the 2 swords and a fucking cat. Everybody wants to play a dark elf now.
I want the cat. Unless you bring in his story, they don't have a story.
there is no D&D story, right? And then unless
Right.
that's probably going to be a Forgotten Realms, because that's the world they push. But Forgotten Realms has every single archetype and every single book, movie, TV series of all, from the dawn of time on, from traditional Tolkien elves and dwarves all the way up to tieflings and dragonborn and all the other bullshit, happy horse shit. Now the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle turtles, you know what I mean? It's too much of a mishmash of a world. It's going to be a mess. I think it's going to be a fucking mess. They're not going to have a consistency, you know.
Well, Justice Smith is not Will Smith's kid.
Okay,
he's his own person. He was one of the stars, or had a role in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, Detective Pikachu, and All the Bright Places. I don't know those movies. Well, I know the first two. Never saw them, obviously. Yeah. All the Bright Places did not see. He's 25, so
That's interesting. John Miller saying John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein are screenwriter and director, could actually be good. I don't know who the fuck they are. I'm not up on this stuff, but whatever. You know, I mean, I hope it's good. I don't want to poo-poo the whole thing. I hope the fuck it's good. I hope that I could go see a D&D movie, but I think somebody brought up once that they have no exact tradition in terms of a story to tell. Right, it's a setting, it's a game, it's books. Unless you go Dragonlance or unless you go Drizzt, there's nothing that the public would recognize as traditional D&D. Right.
And I really think Dragonlance is the one that crosses over to the general populace more than Forgotten Realms. And here's the thing: as we all know, there was that lawsuit over
Dragonlance. Boom. Yeah.
Dragonlance. Now, here's something that's very interesting. And since we were talking about Wizards of the Coast being spun off as its own entity within the company, its own standalone division. There were two lawsuits: the Gale Force 9 lawsuit, which was over licensing, and
that was a miniature, right? The mini licenses.
It was that and translations.
Oh yeah.
So here, now think about it, right? What was Wizards of the Coast? What did it look like that they were trying to do? They were trying to get out of licenses. Maybe they were trying to get out of the D&D Beyond license. They're trying to bring all this stuff in-house.
Yeah, that goes back to that. Yeah.
Again, no inside information, talking on my ass, making assumptions, asking you and me, whatever. But I find the Dragonlance situation becomes even more interesting since that got settled. The books are going to be coming out now. And of course, Tracy Hickman had a social media implosion shortly afterwards.
Really?
Which I don't remember the details of it. I'll be honest with you.
You're another one who knows. Yeah.
Yeah, but suffice to say, it sounds like Wizards of the Coast was trying to neaten things up, and somebody inside the company was trying to neaten them up the wrong way to enable this to happen. It's like, all right, was this licensed with Wizards of the Coast? Was it directly with Hasbro? Another subdivision? Was that why these things were involved? Gale Force 9, the licensing with Gale Force 9, maybe that's now part of directly with Hasbro and not with Wizards of the Coast. Who the fuck knows? All this shit.
I mean, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro puts out fucking toys, dolls, little miniatures. You think that they would have tucked that stuff in house when they bought Wizards of the Coast, all the little minis of the Beholder and the Goblins? You would have think they would have had some kind of ability to roll D&D minis in house, for God's sakes, or at least use the same, companies or something. I don't know. It's weird that I got to go to WizKids to buy my damn minis, and their crappy ass website that they have, and find out what's out and this and that,
Again, that's one of those licenses. Now, it sounds like that's a license that may be through one of Hasbro's other divisions going forward. It sounds very confusing. And I'm sure as a consumer, 99 out of 100 of us don't give a flying fuck. Yeah. It's those of us that are a bit more wired in that you start you pull at the threads, and when you start pulling at the threads, you're like, oh shit, now the shirt's opening up. Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, well, all right, it's already opening up. I'll keep on pulling at that thread. Oh shit, now this needs some major repair work. Yeah. Who knows how far you got to deep, before that happens.
They could do a good job, because let me tell you this. I watched something. I've been seeing a lot of good reviews about Superman and Lois, new CW series. And I know CW, the whole the whole fucking Arrowverse went to the sewer. I admit to being an early fan of Supergirl. So this is, I was into it. I liked the show. It got so fucking stupid. I gave up on it, as well as I never really liked the rest of the Arrowverse, but I used to watch the crossovers. There was a guy who played Superman in some of the crossovers, even though he didn't have a series. They gave him a new series now called Superman and Lois, and it's set 15 years or something after the crossovers. And let me tell you, this gives me a shred of hope that they could do a D&D movie well, because Superman's been around for a million years, right? And everybody knows the whole story. But they told a new Superman story while adopting some of the same great themes that make every story good, right? They talked about the human struggle of Superman. He's a father. He has 2 twin boys. One of them has issues. They're going to start high school. He's married. His kids don't know he's Superman. He's trying to save the world and be there for his kids' baseball. It's all the shit that makes. I was choked up watching the show at least 5 or 6 times last night. I was actually legit. Anybody who has a son, any man with a son, I don't even have a son. Any man with a son will get choked up watching this. It hit all the right buttons. I was talking to my brother.
Really?
He says, some of the shit you saw coming, but I said, yeah, but it came in a good way. It came and it made you happy. Even though you may have seen a couple of things coming, it made you happy when it got there. As long as they tell a good fucking story that hits all the right heartstrings and plays on all the real emotions, and they tell a story rather than promote agendas, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And you all know what I'm talking about there. As long as they tell a good fucking story that hits the right elements and makes you feel something, they could do a good job. It doesn't matter if it's Dragonlance, Drizzt, or some generic world, not even Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk. They could do a fucking great job. That gave me hope. I mean, this movie, this Superman and Lois, seemed like it was written in 2003, before the time of troubles. Yeah, it was, dude. You got to watch it, man. You got to watch it. It's an hour and a half premiere episode, the pilot episode. It's on demand on CW. I was blown the hell away. I gotta say, I'm looking for this. Could be my next new favorite series. It really can. I was blown the hell away by this thing.
Bad Mike, CW's MO is they start out good but get idiotic.
Yeah, I agree. That's what happened with the one show I did watch was Supergirl. I loved it. First couple of seasons. I would go back now and watch the first couple of seasons, except it would make me depressed as to where it ended up. You know what I mean?
John Miller, Daly and Goldstein co-wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming and co-directed Game Night.
I liked Homecoming.
I've heard of Game Night. I didn't see it.
I heard it was good stuff, though. I didn't see it either. Yeah. No agendas, John. No agendas in there. Oh, you say that's. I'll get you. Sorry,
John. What are the odds the D&D movie would be an original story and or in a new world? I don't know. Here's one that we haven't even addressed yet.
Yeah.
What if the D&D movie uses the Magic the Gathering setting for its setting?
Oh boy.
Okay, because then you're crossing over 2 IPs from Wizards of the Coast.
It'd be a brilliant, stupid idea. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, man. It's a possibility. How else can you? How do you maximize the exposure? Well, yeah, we got a good number of people know D&D, but how many Magic the Gathering players are there? Yeah. Now, if we build this movie as the D&D movie powered by Magic the Gathering, think about it, and then we could throw in new spells for D&D that will release in a new book that will, but there'll be spells that are based upon the Magic the Gathering IP, and then move it from there.
I hope they don't bite off more than they can chew. Just do one thing at a time and do it well. It's like remember what the hell was that City Slickers movie? What's the secret to happiness? Just do one thing, right? Wasn't that the rule? Wasn't that his law? Just one thing.
Do one thing and do one thing good.
Yeah.
But
stick to what you know.
Here's the thing. We know historically D&D movies suck shit.
Yeah.
So
they had Jeremy fucking Irons. He's a goddamn Academy Award winner. Literally an Academy Award winner in like 1983 or something for some movie. And they had him in there as the bad guy. And how could you get an Academy Award winner in there and fucking blow it? Oh God. He was fantastic in the Borgias, that Showtime series. I think it ran 3 seasons. Amazing, fucking amazing actors. One of my favorite series ever, the Borgias. The Jeremy Irons one. There was another shittier Borgias series somewhere else, but this was a fantastic one. You see his true acting grit, and this guy had it. He has the chops, and they fucking used him in that and blew it. Fucking blew it. Yeah. I got a thing here. I was looking up the movie and I found is an article on some dicebreaker.com. 6 things the new Dungeons and Dragons movie needs to do to become a critical hit. Now, right away, if they mention critical hit, I know where they're going to go with this, right? So let's see.
Critical Role, man. Critical Role. Ooh,
yeah, exactly. So here, take inspiration from the source.
That was my thing. There you go.
So here's the number 1 point. Take inspiration from the source material. Now, to my point on that is, what source material? They don't have any true source material. They got some stories.
Yeah, we gotta go back to. We gotta make sure you cast Mordenkainen's Disjunction, and Tensor's floating. I cast Tensor's floating disc. All right, yes, there we go. We went back.
Use magic hand spell. That'd be a fun one. Rated R.
No. We're going to get in trouble with the magic hand spell.
Here's where they fail. Number 2, pay attention to actual play podcasts and video series. And there they have a big fucking picture, a goddamn Critical Role cast with what's his face right in the middle of it, right? No, that's the thing you don't do. You don't pay attention to them because that's not what D&D is played like. That's not what D&D is all. Critical Role is not D&D, motherfucker. It's not how people play it.
But what they're saying there, though, is that they want Critical Role made into a fucking movie. And no, I mean, well, maybe, but not. That's not your D&D movie. That's your Critical Role movie. Critical Role is its own entity.
It is.
Okay.
It is. It's not D&D though. Whatever the fuck they do on there, I've only seen a couple episodes. It ain't fucking D&D. I can tell you that. Steve, any movie promoted with the D&D brand is doomed to fail. It's not a video game property. It just won't work. It's got nerds in the basement stink all over it. That's true. And Steve, congratulations. Horrors of the Sepulture, even though I think it might have spelled sepulture wrong. Still, it might take the British spelling, but we'll differ on that. That fucking funded tonight, dude. You kicked ass. You got 186 backers with $2,823.29 Canadian. So what is that, like $18 US? How does that work?
Something like that. They got that plastic.
Yeah, I don't know how to fucking count money up there.
But here's cheers. Here's my my raspberry lemonade.
Hey, say Zine so Steve could do a drink again like he was doing last time.
No, I've been doing Zine. I think I fixed myself. I did the last couple of podcasts.
He was doing shots. It for you. But yeah, anyway, back to the 6 things here. Again, number 3, recognize its contemporaries. And then they say, unfortunately, the first D&D film didn't have many examples of great fantasy film or television to take inspiration from. Up until the early 2000s, the best the genre could offer was Labyrinth or Xena Warrior Princess, which were both good shows. I still wanted, Christ, I was dying to see Xena and that little blonde chick fucking get it on someday. They hinted at that shit, man. That was great fucking... Yeah, that was great. I was that tension there, shit. Maybe just tension in my own head, but that was we were all waiting for that shit to happen, right?
Boyfriend, by the way, this was my glass for my hot tea. It's gone. It's done. It's been done had. So
then they're saying though. So in terms of contemporaries, they're saying the Lord of the Rings trilogy is an obvious choice, and then Game of Thrones is another one. I don't think D&D should be like either of them, and I don't think it will.
Done. They've already been done. Why would you want to repeat somebody else's story?
If you want to create D&D, it's a story about action and adventure, going on quests and doing stuff and living up the high life. If you want to get to the tropes of it, it's not It's not depressing like Game of Thrones, and it's not. Even though most DMs, a lot of bad DMs, try to make a Lord of the Rings into D&D. They try to make the D&D game into a lot of Lord of the Rings. 6 men and women must go together and save the world. Because of whatever. That's the cheesiest fucking trope ever done. I hope people aren't doing it, but I think they are. 4, don't take things too seriously and have a flump. The stupid ass.
So we can go back to having one of the Wayans brothers in the D&D movie because you need that role, right? Listen, when we play D&D, did we goof around? Yes. Joe and I have discussed that we could never actually record our gaming sessions because. Ever. I could because I'm retired. But anybody who actually is actively employed,
canceled.
No. But here's the thing, that does not make a great movie. And a 1 or 2. Listen, most good movies have that humor scene, but it's not just done for the humor. It's done to change the atmosphere to move you from that highly dramatic, boom, light humor brings you back, and that makes it dramatic, more dramatic when it comes back.
Yep.
Just throwing it in for a comedic effect sucks shit.
Yeah, that's terrible. I think, and just going back to number 3, I think in terms of the movies, I still think that the best movies D&D style were made back in the 80s and 90s. Conan was fantastic. Yes. Willow, I was one of the few people, I fucking loved Willow. I loved that goddamn movie. That was a Val Kilmer with the little fucking things, and I don't know, that was a great fucking movie. Anyway, number 5, channel what people love about playing Dungeons & Dragons. Then they go into, what do people love about it? Is it the ability to become someone impossible, the chance to explore a world of danger from the safety of your own couch, monster guts, blah, 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 blah. And now they get into what they're saying is that it's whatever makes fans passionate. It has all the recognizable iconography, but none of the heart. But they say don't cater to D&D players. Don't that take the rules too seriously and gatekeep, making the hobby less accessible to newer players. It's not the role-playing game I recommend to beginners. It's definitely one they picked up most often. But again, they don't define what people love about playing Dungeons & Dragons because you can't. Because you know what people love about Dungeons & Dragons is getting together with their fucking friends with a beer,
shared experience.
Theme. It's a shared journey together that the roll of the dice creates stories that you're busting their balls for 15 years later. You know what I mean? I played last night with Matt Jackson's game and his killer. Oh, here it comes. I told you we'd always get a Matt Jackson shot in here. Yeah, so we're playing this game last night. All right, so I'm sneaking ahead. We're in a hole. We had a couple of followers upstairs guarding our loot and all this shit. We go into the hole 2 hours later. We come out of the hole. Our followers, some of them ran off with our loot. So we're like, fuck you, followers. We're going to fucking take your head Highlander style. We chased their asses down. Now, you told us that a few followers took our shit. We're adventurers. We're going to whoop their ass, right? A couple second level, third level. We get to there. The followers emerge. Next thing you know, there's a fucking troll from hell. There's a super powerful wizard. There were wolves, this and that. I'm like, motherfucker. Followers took our shit. Hey, I'm climbing a tree. I'm up there hiding. I'm a ranger. I'm up in the tree. My sneak didn't work to get there. The dogs detected me. I went to shoot my bow. To surprise them, I rolled a 1. I fucking had to roll a dex check so I didn't fall out of the fucking tree. I barely made that. And then I ended up, the super wizard cast a sleep spell on me, and I fell 40 feet Rambo style through all the branches, landed on the ground, rolled. I didn't break the bow that I landed on, but I nearly fucking died. All this just before the fight even began. And that's the kind of shit rolls and shit luck that I'm going to tell stories about for many fucking years and bust Matt Jackson's balls for being a super killer DM who hates his players. You know what I mean? But that's the essence of fucking D&D. That's when you play the game, you tell these stories forever. My brother still busts my balls that I killed this fucking guys with 15 trolls with longbows back in AD&D days when the trolls couldn't even use longbows. I had a thing I wanted to get to. He had to go. You know what I mean?
Gotta move it on, man. Gotta move it on.
I gotta move the internal plot that's going on in my head onto the next phase. And your guys living just got in the way of that shit. What can I say? But I mean, that's the thing you're never going to capture. You're never going to capture that in a movie. You can't. It's impossible, you know? And then number 6, I don't think it needs any discussion because number 6 is hire a diverse team and sensitivity writers.
Oh, because, well, you know what? I don't even know if I even want to step on that.
I'm just leaving it alone.
It is numerous bags of burning shit just placed in front of us. But here, John says that, according to Wikipedia, Sweet Pea Entertainment is one of the production companies for the new D&D movie. They had the rights. And they have maintained the rights, and yes. So, but I believe that they have basically licensed their rights to others, but they're involved in they're going to get paid well if the movie does well. But I don't think they're actively involved more than being. We got the rights when, we didn't think it was going to be worth all that much.
Conan the Barbarian short on YouTube?
No, Cohen.
Oh, Cohen. Is that a typo or did you make?
No, I think it's a Cohen. I'm gonna have to look. It could be the Jewish barbarian. We could find out later.
I have no idea.
Find out. Film rights did not include Dragonlance, Forgotten Realms, Eberron, or anything else.
The case. It may just be the D&D name, and they may not have the rights to any of those shit. You're right.
Right. So it might be, but so they could do a Forgotten Realms movie and therefore not need Sweet Pea. If they want to use the D&D on the movie Dungeons and Dragons, they got to include Sweet Pea into the. So Sweet Pea's gonna get a good deal out of it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Sensitive murder hobos, Bob. Yeah, exactly. Terry Pratchett. Yeah, that would be not good. You should have a Terry Pratchett anything movie.
There are some Terry Pratchett stuff out there, British stuff. Not. Oh God, they were on Amazon or Netflix. I did watch them. It was a Christmas special and stuff. There was one about the postal built, off the postal book. They're not bad. They're actually very, very. They're a lot of fun.
I agree. What you just said about Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser has got to be written, but it won't ever be made in this day and age. These are two guys who go out, kill shit, take their stuff, come back, party. The equivalent of strippers blow and rock and roll. You know what I mean? And they go out and do it again. That shit would never be made. It wouldn't be Fafhrd and Grey Mouser.
David's like, Cohen is from Discworld. That's right. Cohen the Barbarian. Okay. I forgot about that. Yes, and Hogfather is available. That's one of the movies that's available on demand from Discworld. Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser. If they did it today, it would be like Bill and Ted.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's what you. Yeah, and it'd be like, okay, this isn't quite what I signed up for, but they feel that they have the right combination to make a really boring.
But they wouldn't do it justice. Conan, the way Conan is written in the books, would never go over well either. They have to do the Milius, whoever his name was, who did it back in that was a great one. The Schwarzenegger one, that was fantastic. It wasn't perfect, but it was fucking good. I'm looking forward to Dune. I'm hearing good things about Dune, especially books made into movies. You guys ever? I don't know if you guys are Dune fans. I was a massive Dune fan in college. Every semester,
never read it.
Really, dude, you got to read it, man. When I was in college, I bought it because there's a used bookstore near the school, and every semester I want to read Dune, so I go to the used bookstore and buy a new one for $8. By the time I graduated, I had 8 or 9 Dune books at home. I kept the best and got rid of the rest. And I just read the series over and over, especially God Emperor of Dune. My God, that was mind blowing shit. But the new stuff that his son putting out with some other writer, whatever, I take it or leave it, But what Frank Herbert actually wrote, and I hope that the new Dune movie does a good adaptation of it. I'm one of the few people who liked the fucking Dune movie that was put out in 1980 something with who the hell did that?
Was Sting in that movie?
Yes, that one. That was the one. Yeah.
All right.
It was good, and not too many people like it,
I think I saw the movie. I can't remember if Sting was in it, but we can go back to that time. It's like, Flash Gordon. Remember Flash Gordon from those days? Oh, jeez, that movie did not age well.
No, I think David Lynch did the movie. Beavis and Butthead do Fafhrd and the Mouser. That would be good. That would be interesting. Man, there's another entertainment type of thing that doesn't fly today. Beavis and Butthead wouldn't stick with anybody. Kids today would never get the humor.
No. I'm surprised something like South Park is still not just on the air, but the older episodes age well, surprisingly enough. And the new ones, some of them are just still spot on. I can't get beyond that.
Link to the troll bridge above. Yeah, I don't know. It should be interesting. Now you got me thinking though. I mean, I got my Kickstarter page pulled up here. I backed Crypt the Devil Lich for DCC. Now I'm thinking of doing the One Ring too. I mean, it's like momentum. Once you get a certain momentum and a wake behind you, your wake just pulls people in with this One Ring thing. But,
oh God, yes.
The Crypt of the Devil Lich looked pretty good too. It's made for DCC and 5th edition. I tried to convert that over into 3X days from what it was originally written for, which was probably AD&D or some old school book, and try to convert it to 3 point whatever or Pathfinder, and it didn't convert well. So I backed it because I recognized the quality of the adventure, but I wasn't good enough to convert it over as a DM, and I wasn't good enough to run it well as a DM, and my players weren't good enough at old school style games to play it well. It was just a big mismatch. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the 5th edition version of Crypt of the Devil Lich. They're making a 15th level adventure, which is a rare thing to have such a high level adventure for 5th edition,
Right. Well, they're making a new Beavis and Butthead movie for Paramount, according to John. That's scary.
The new Ravenloft book with the sparkling vampires.
They sparkles. Now I'm looking at my Kickstarter email, which shows some current projects that they're highlighting. And Coral Island has raised $1.254 million.
Jesus fuck!
And it's reimagining the farm sim game. People still play farm sim games. I mean, I know Tim.
City things.
Yeah, well, Tim Cash used to play Pot Farmer, but I mean,
Farmer? You mean in real life or
no, on his phone. I used to talk to somebody like, oh yeah, hold on, I gotta finish planting my crops in Pot Farmer. I go, Pot Farmer? Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's like that farmer thing, but it's for pot.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's amazing what raises money. Hey, Zombicide. Now I've seen the Zombicide board game, never played it.
Mm-hmm.
I would never have guessed it would raise $1.6 million and have 11 days left to go.
Jesus.
I mean, are people really stuck at home and you're going to break out Zombicide to play with your kids? Hey, little Johnny, little Melissa, sit down and we're going to play Zombicide. Well, you know The Walking Dead, which I don't let you watch because of the graphical violent scenes and sex, but we're going to play a board game that's kind of like that, but it's funnier, so it's okay. Let's enjoy it. I don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm
looking at this thing now. Now you got me looking at shit. I pulled up a search that has basically the biggest, most money raised in this and that. The Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns raised $1 million fucking dollars.
What?
The Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns, a 5th edition supplement with fantastical pre-made taverns, inspiring story hooks, and lovable NPCs. Dude, if a fucking Kickstarter can raise $1 million with taverns, why has Tenkar's Tavern not done $1 million fucking Kickstarter? That's all I'm asking, all right?
First off, Tenkar does not do Kickstarters. I just support them and critique them, but
$1 million? Do a fucking Kickstarter, man, motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
Listen, now, who was involved in that party? It's got to be somebody who brought in the 5e players. I mean, I could bring in
$11,000 backers.
Let
me see.
If I was going to do that, I would need somebody to do a good map. I would need a good artist, and I would need a James Bond quality writer.
So you need to license your name, Tenkar's Tavern, to do the Tenkar's Tavern book.
Yeah,
what it comes down to.
Right. I mean, Tenkar's Tavern has made appearances elsewhere. With my consent, it's in Domve by Pete Spawn. It's Teknar's Tavern is in Bardsgate by Frog God Games.
Yeah.
With an obvious version of crotchety retired watchman dwarf barkeep. It's made an appearance. Oh my god!
I don't know who this person is. Elder Manson.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is it? I have no idea. But they got $1 million for a book of bars, dude. A book of bars, $1 million. What the fuck, man? We're doing something wrong in life, dude. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. We were $1 million for a book of bar drinks and bar layouts, for fuck's sake. I mean, my God. And then I see the One Ring there showing up. They got
the one ring I can understand. That's an IP that's a solid IP.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see raising $1 million for a book, but then again, think about it. You could raise $1 million for a book about fantasy bars, but Frank Metzner couldn't raise $250,000 for his fantasy setting, and that tells you some skew up on the priorities amongst, I guess, the newer gaming public.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I can't go to a bar. Like maybe it's I can't go to a bar, but I want to read about fantasy bars. I'm willing to plop down that money. I don't know.
You got to do a Tenkar's Tavern Kickstarter. Get the talent lined up. John Miller's fucking right.
Alyssa Faden, Tim Kask, Bad Mike, Zach Laser. You have the talent lined up.
It's true, man. All you gotta do is focus. You gotta focus on like the dude from that movie. Focus on one thing and do it well.
I just don't want to get into an argument with Tim over the pay scale because I got into one with him because I wasn't even the person he thought I was. This is after he had chemo.
Yeah,
See, a little chemo brain. So he gave me a tongue lashing, and then afterwards I realized that he thought I was Bill Webb. And my thing was I wasn't wearing a raincoat. I was wearing pants, and I didn't have Crocs on. So and I'm heavier than Bill Webb. So and shorter, but all right. Be it as it may, yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't see the money there. And be honest with you, I'd rather pay the talent than pay myself. So, you know,
still, it's an idea, man. $1 million Kickstarter. That's a thing from the man who criticizes Kickstarters. That's fantastic.
Tenkar's Tavern.
You can pull it
live. Playing your own Tenkar's Tavern. There are multiple versions of Tenkar's Tavern for your world. You can have one on your space outpost. Tenkar's Tavern.
I almost want to back it just to see. It's again, it just brings you in the wake of it. It's like $1 million Kickstarter. Now I'm like, what the fuck is so good about it? I gotta get it. I gotta look at it. I gotta see it.
Wait, it's live right now.
It's live now. Yeah, it's live right now. The Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns. And if you back it, let me see the levels. It's almost 1.1 for fuck's sake. 85, 125, 250. Holy Christ, $250. What the hell are you getting for $250?
It's 7 days to go.
You get a Stein.
Shit.
You get a tavern style Stein for the big one. What's a plastic chibi? What the fuck is a chibi? Anybody know? Pop-out card modular tavern set, special dice in wooden case, leather-bound book, Seeker's enameled pin, tavern dice. You can need tavern dice too, man. The Secret playing cards, tavern. Oh, for playing cards, like you're playing cards at a bar. Tavern quest board, map pack, hardcover. What the hell is this?
Oh, they go for Stein. Now, right, already in that level. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
Beer Stein. Gee, I only hit the pack for 125 to get the Beer Stein as part of my package.
But I'm still wondering what the hell it is. I mean, looking at the picture here. Well, now I gotta play the fucking. Oh God, they got an animated fucking video.
Oh, they got a modular tavern. Lay out we have infinite taverns because you can lay out the tiles and do your tavern.
That how it goes? Yeah, I see it there. Okay. And you got cards to play cards dude, I gotta say, I'm a little tempted.
You know what? I could back for $1 and just get the Stein for another 20.
Yeah.
That actually is.
That's a cool looking Stein, I gotta say. It is looking
for my Stein collection. That is certainly but holy shit. I mean,
this looks pretty cool, man. I gotta say. Dice in the
But here they say that they are a collection of YouTubers and game designers. So I haven't scrolled down far enough in the page to see who's involved in this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
Elderman.
Okay, so Logan Reese.
You know who he is?
Now Ona Christensen. Don't know. Catherine Griggs. And then you got some other first names because we don't know who they are. So really, I don't know, but more power to them.
Yeah. No, it looks pretty cool. I gotta say, I was slightly tempted. I mean, playing cards, dice, the Stein, they did it well.
Go figure.
Yeah, it's interesting, man.
All right.
I'm interested more in this than the One Ring one. I gotta say that. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Well, it's been an hour and a half, man. I'm talked out, I think.
It's okay.
I managed to hold it in too. I didn't have to do the run to the bathroom.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh wait, hold on a second. Before we bounce out, let me get everybody's stuff here. For Heart and Sound, maybe a Kickstarter based on an accessory for Swords of Wizardry Continue Light, like a module based on Tenkar's Tavern as an adventure base with a nearby dungeon and hex crawl. That would be awesome. And if you think that you could write it up, I'm sure you can figure it out. I'll tell you right now, I'm using the free town, city, setting and dungeon map generators on itch.io for an upcoming project because they are lovely and they are commercially available. This is peak Kickstarter. They throw in they could throw in a BJ and a towel if you pledge at the God Emperor level. All right. And you might even get a reach around at some point.
Oh, here it is. A chibi is a
super
style presentation of the human form. What the fuck is that? All right, so it's a stupid thing.
Okay. Hold on a second. I'll show you kind of what a chibi looks like.
It looks like when you turn around, it looks like you're sitting at the bar with all those people, and now you're walking through the bar. Dude, you forgot you're wearing your tighty whities. What are you doing?
I'm not wearing my tighty whities.
No, you should have said you were. Keep up the illusion. All the people who are listening on the podcast have to go onto YouTube now and see it.
So now, does this character look at all familiar to you?
Fuck is that? No.
All right. Have you Baldur's Gate?
Oh, okay.
Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes.
No, I don't think I played Baldur's Gate actually.
Oh, okay. And then of course, usually they have the oversized heads. The chibis I've seen. Yeah. So I guess Space Ghost wouldn't quite count. His head isn't too oversized. But so I had to get the Ranger because
taking shit from Matt here, man.
Wait, Matt actually logged in?
Oh, he logged in. Yeah, I wonder if he heard us busting his balls about his counter last night, but yeah.
All right, we'll get to Matt in a second.
Yeah.
David mentioned that the Barrow Maze Dwarrel Delve will be kickstarting in a few weeks. Yes, I that should be great. We'll have to grab. Maybe we'll grab Greg one day.
That'd be cool.
On here
he was in our chat last week, wasn't he? He was talking to
yes. Yeah, Greg, and we can have a college professor with us. So, folks, if you want Joe and I to really appear as stupid as we can be. Compared to a college professor.
Oh, I didn't know he's a college professor. I'll have to start reading up on some shit.
Oh, great. And Greg teaches game design in college.
Really? Yes. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Crap design and you what? Yeah. Yeah, well. I have this collection. Let's see what else is here. Looks like a bunch of lame gamer bling to me, but that's why I was just
yeah, it looks interesting though. Of course, Eric has one.
Of course,
he's busting your balls again.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The official Tenkar Tab Kickstarter could one up them by featuring a genuine stone or a pewter stein. But if you did that, then only one have one prestige item apart from the books. It doesn't become a nightmare.
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah, you know what? I'd have to get a professional involved if I was including anything other than the adventure. And I don't know if I want to do it. Yeah. If you want steins, I still have. Oh my god, there are still Tenkar's Tavern steins available. I'd have to remember what my which of these print-on-demand locations I have the images up on. Probably should figure that out for one of these days.
And then, Joe, I did go to law school. I am a lawyer, but I don't practice law. I do something sort of like related to it. And so to have me give any legal advice on anything is sort of like having a doctor perform surgery on you, but he went to medical school 25 years ago and didn't do anything related to it since. So, yeah, you don't want that.
Kind of like Dr. Fauci giving medical advice at this point.
I
know. So, all right. So as we're wrapping this up, and obviously the elephant in the room is COVID. So I've been saying this before. You all claim that common sense will prevent you from throwing that fireball that you just told me you're throwing into a 10-by-10 room. And I just told you that you killed half your party with the backlash. You're like, I've common sense. I would never do that. I know better. Use your fucking common sense when it comes to COVID. Mm-hmm. All right. You can't keep others healthy and safe. You can't help them if they become ill if you don't take care of yourself first. So. Mm-hmm. Use your common sense. Be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice. Knock on wood.
Guys. Have a good week.
Rich and I will be back tomorrow with Gamers Health around 8 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's a move to Saturday, right? It's
moved to Saturday.
All right.
We've had some great response to the live streams. I really do appreciate it.
Nice.
All right, folks.
Later. On the 12th of March, I believe. So, yeah.
Woohoo. Yeah, that sounds
all right.
All right.
Thanks for joining.